All right, we're recording. Is this thing on? I love that joke. Yeah. Welcome to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. Here I am with Chris Smith, and we've got a very special announcement today.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, this one's been coming for a minute, and we've been, well, I guess we guys. This announcement has been coming for a minute.
He can't keep a secret, so it's been really, really hard for me to keep him quiet.
I will tell you, I have not kept that secret. I've told a few people. Yes.
We've had a lot of things in the works for the last couple of months.
Yes, more than a couple. We've been talking about this for a minute because it's kind of this is going to be a big deal. So I'm not going to give anything away, but we're going to have this announcement coming up soon. But before we get started, I would like to just go over, if you've never seen our channel before, who we are, what we've done in the past, some excursions and adventures and some destinations and some things that we are doing and why we are doing them. And then in our next segment, we will let you know the big reveal.
I'm surprised. I think there are a lot of people out there that wonder how we're still here after some of the some of the crazy adventures we've done.
with my life track record, I also am very surprised that I am still here.
How many times did we drive our bikes in the Trans-America Trail?
I think mine was only 4. I think
that's not too bad.
One. I think there was like the East Coast I didn't drop, but the rest of them made up for it.
Yeah. Arizona or Nevada, wherever that was.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started with this, right? So we started this channel in 2019 when you were going to Mexico. So half of us have done Mexico. I did it vicariously. Look at you. And oh, by the way, that's not off the list for me. He wants to go back.
Yep.
You went to see the butterflies. You didn't get to see the butterflies.
I did not.
So we want to do the Baja side this time.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we want to, maybe next year, we'll see how everything goes.
I did the East Coast, and it was fantastic. Everybody said, oh, that's like the major drug route, up the eastern side. And
was it? Did you get any?
Didn't have any problems whatsoever, and I met the nicest people. I have to tell you, if you get a chance to go riding in Mexico, do not have any fear. Just do it. It's unbelievable. I loved riding through Mexico. Part of it, of course, is I grew up in a third world country, and so I really connected, I think, with their way of life, a little bit slower pace, and the way that they, have more of a community. Here in America, you come home from work and you pull into your garage and hit a button, and your garage door closes behind you, and you never even see your neighbors. I saw my neighbors for the first time in like 3 weeks yesterday. They were getting their mail, and I'm like, hey, Laura, how are you? How you been? And their kid has grown, since the last time. I'm like, it's been forever since we've seen. Yeah, we've been so busy. Over there, after work every day, everybody goes out to the town square and hangs out.
Well, I have Wilson, my neighbor.
Yeah.
His name's not really Wilson, but he looks over the fence like this and feeds treats to my dog through there. But so I get a little bit of neighborliness. So after that, what was the next thing that we decided to do?
Well, the big one, is that what you're talking about?
What happened after Mexico?
Well, we did the Trans-America Trail.
I bought my first bike in the fall of 19, and then we started on the Trans-America Trail as soon as you got back from Mexico and I finished editing them.
Was it that soon?
It was real quick, yeah. It was real quick. I hadn't been riding the new bike very long.
I wasn't able to go back to Mexico the following year because COVID had hit.
Right.
But because borders were closed, we were lucky in that our next big trip, the Trans-America Trail, was within our borders.
And that took us a year because we did it in 4 stages, 2 weeks-ish for each one. We went from here to Tennessee to Oklahoma, Nevada, LA, and we did it over a few months. Check out that series. There's 43 episodes, riveting stuff. It's better than the Travel Channel. I'm just saying. So
and that was by the way, we have to give a big shout out to Steve because that was really one of the big trips he wanted to do, and that's how we merged with Steve.
Yes, Steve just jumped on board as the third of that and stuck with us all the way across the country.
I spoke with him yesterday. I know a lot of you ask where he is and what he's been up to. He's been very busy, and he says hi to everybody. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. So after the Trans-America Trail, we decided to do an easier one, that next one, and that was...
Is that what you call easier?
Yeah.
The Natchez Trace?
Is that super easy?
Oh, it is, in that it's because it's pavement.
And there's no traffic, and it's 2 lanes, and there's no trucks allowed, and it's historical, and
But you got to admit, we hit some weather.
Yes, but weather on the Natchez Trace is not weather on the Trans-America Trail.
That's true.
Because in the Trans-America Trail, we hit wind and mud and rain and snow,
Yeah.
and sleet and hail and fog and blistering heat and dehydration. On the Natchez Trace, it drizzled a little.
Yeah.
And we stopped and we got lunch and we talked to the museum directors. And so that if you ever have a chance to go on the Natchez Trace, by the way, it's actually a very nice ride. If you want to just laze around and learn a little bit about the history of that area over the course of hundreds of years, thousands of years.
The history of
Check it
America,
out.
really.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
America,
the continent.
Yeah, a lot of what started,
burial grounds and all of that. So what happens after that?
Oh man, you're asking me to dig deep into
I know. What was the next one? Was it the Mabder?
Might have been the Mabder was the next big. Oh no! Where's the Scar in all this?
Oh, the Scar, the South Carolina Adventure Trail. That is just a meandering, sandy, sometimes trail around a circle in South Carolina.
There's a lot of states that have these.
Oh, sure.
Ohio has an adventure trail. I think it's a straight one. It's not a circle.
Okay.
But Kentucky, I hear, has a really good one. I think our good friend, the Bearded Grump, is doing that right now.
He is doing that one right now. Good luck to you. I've been watching your series. That was
The Cat. We did the Scar. He's doing the Cat.
KAT.
We did the Florida the FAT.
The Panhandle Adventure
PHAT.
Trail. We just got done with that one a few months ago, and
I'm jumping ahead.
You are
Sorry.
skip ahead. So let's go ahead and skip ahead. So after the Scar, we did the Mid-Atlantic Back Roads Discovery Route.
Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery
Okay.
Route.
And the Mabder. And
I think we won a film festival.
we
for
did.
That.
Not only did we think we did, we actually did.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good one. My buddy Ransom Batson wrote our theme song, which has since become our permanent theme song.
And thanks to all of you guys who voted for us for that. That was very kind of you too.
It was an overwhelming win, we must say. We did direct marketing for that one, but we ended up with lots of prizes and lots of things for our bikes and things like that. So that was awesome. Then we tried to do the northeast version of the BDR, and that one kind of got flooded out. So we skipped ahead. And we went to
Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, though, that was really cool.
It was fun. Yes, we got to ride the ferry.
Canada gas is expensive.
It is.
But once you're over there, and the people are so nice, and it was just a neat cultural experience for me because I had no idea there was so much Scottish influence in Nova Scotia, which means New Scotland, by the way.
Oh, well, yes, it does. And then once we got back from that one, Chris and I took off on the Panhandle Adventure Trail across the top of Florida, east to west, basically from the east coast of Florida all the way across to Pensacola. And this one was coincidentally, unintentionally, my childhood historical journey, because I grew up. My formative years were all across the top of the Panhandle and some of mid and South Florida, but we went right across. So I got to see some places where my grandfather grew up and was a lawyer, and my parents went to high school.
I got to meet your mom for the first
Got to meet
time.
my mom.
You got to go check that out. We just released episode 2 a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And Jason's working on episode 3. Work faster, Jason!
It's in the timeline. Relax.
He's working on episode 3, where we meet some really neat people at a coffee house, by the way.
Yep. Cow House Coffee Shop.
Shh. We don't want to spoil everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, kind of neat when you were just describing that, because the Trans-America Trail goes from the Atlantic to the Pacific. The Panhandle Adventure Trail goes from the Atlantic to the Gulf of Mexico. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Now, with all of that said, and that brings us up to date, have we missed anything? Well, we've done some events. We did the Horizons Unlimited, and the Palmetto Rally, and all of that. We've done a number of different things, and we're planning to do one in
individual
September.
trips. I went and did the Tutto Italia rally in North Carolina.
Get on to editing that one. See?
So we've got some trips still coming that are in the editing bin.
Yep. But all of those together, in my opinion, pale in comparison to the adventure that we are planning as of right now. So with that, a short word from one of our brand new sponsors that are helping us with this next adventure. We'll be right back with that announcement. The Oaks Private School, or TOPS, is an accredited private school in the state of Florida, catering to those families who have chosen to educate their students at home. There are many reasons why families choose to do this, but it is a personal choice that each family has to make on their own. TOPS, being accredited in the state of Florida, delivers an official transcript that is received by colleges and even the U.S. military. TOPS has many students that are actors and athletes. Many families travel on a regular basis and need that covering from the Oaks Private School to give them that official transcript at the end of their children's education. Check them out online at theoaksprivateschool.com, browse their website, and see what kind of curriculums and offerings they have for you. Thanks for taking a moment to check out TOPS.
And we're back.
We're back.
It's the new set. What do you
It
guys think of our
is.
new set?
Set 2.
Set number 2. Drum roll, please.
You bet. Hang on.
And the big announcement is
We're going to Africa. Here's a big hint.
Yeah.
And let me show you. You can actually reach it better. Tell me where we're going.
Ooh, I didn't know.
Well, here's how I figured it out.
Oh.
Because I'm not familiar as you are with Africa.
Well, first of all, this is an old map that doesn't even have the right countries.
Listen. I found it on Amazon. Right? Get it? Amazon. But it's right about, if you close your eyes and you poke your finger right in the dead center of the continent, this is basically where we're going. To the Congo.
There I was in the Congo.
Please let us know.
We're
what it
basically
is.
going, Jason was talking about how he did his family tradition, followed his heritage across the Panhandle Adventure Trail. Now we're going to my
That's true.
country of my birth. The Congo is, of course, known as the Heart of Darkness. A lot of people will do motorcycle trips to Africa, and they'll go to places like Tanzania or Kenya or South Africa, and we call that Africa Light.
Oh, is that where you go to see the elephants from the truck?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it,
yeah.
got it.
While you're
The
sipping
safari?
champagne and,
Yes.
Yeah. So
With your Apple Watch and your... Okay.
yes.
Got it.
This is hardcore. This is the real Africa.
So how did this come about?
Okay, so essentially, like you guys probably know, I grew up in Africa. I was born and raised there. And I went to boarding school in a place called the American School of Kinshasa. Kinshasa is the capital of the Congo, which used to be Zaire. And my high school buddy, good friend, Paul Law, went to the same place. His parents were missionaries in a different part of the country. And we became best buds and went to the same boarding school. In fact, we roomed together. We were both very athletic. We were both into a lot of the same things and just became best friends. So one semester, I invited him to come up and spend one of the breaks with my family, and another time he invited me to go and spend one of the breaks, I think it was Christmas break, with his family. And his family is from the Sankuru region near a town called Lodja. And we had a blast. It was so cool, We went navigating down a river with a canoe that had never been navigated that we are aware of.
First explorers saw this country. Saw it just like us. In a canoe.
Oh.
So we got stuck with, fire ants eating at us. And
How old were you at this time?
junior in high school or senior in high school.
Okay. So you did not have the smarts to not do it
Right.
at that point. Okay.
Well, his parents had been missionaries in the area forever, and so they knew of the river and they knew of villages along the river. So they knew that as long as there weren't any huge waterfalls, we'd probably be okay.
I can imagine how they felt.
All right.
But we did go through some areas that we did not know, where there were a lot of trees growing up in the river, where it was really hard to get through, and the stream was pushing us, and so we nearly tipped over several times, and that was a road. Got razor wire,
So why are you dragging me to Africa then?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll finish the story
Sure.
now. 30 some years later, or however long later, Paul and I reconnect, and he became a doctor. He went to Johns Hopkins University, but his uncle is still running his parents' mission project over there in Lodja. But Paul is going out there and starting a whole new chapter of that organization, focusing on healthcare, especially for children and for remote villages in and around Lodja. Lodja is kind of a hub. It's a pretty big city. It's got a small airport. That's what we'll be flying into. But a lot of diamond mining happens there. A lot of rice production, a lot of agriculture happens in and around that area. So that's kind of, Lodja is the hub. But there are so many surrounding villages that are still very remote, very hard to access, and hard to get health care to.
Yep.
And so he is basically leaving his cushy job in America, you know, as a doctor, and is starting a whole new mission over there to support those remote villages with better health care.
How long has this organization been, how long has he been working toward getting this together?
Over the last 2 years, if I
Okay.
remember correctly, he's been going out and getting things established and getting connections made, and then coming back and taking up work with the practice here to, you know, raise his own funds and get things going. But at some point, he's got to sever the ties here, and he's got to, you know, stay full time over there if he's really going to get any headway with this mission that he's working on.
No, let me, pause right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just interject and pepper you with some questions.
Okay.
All right.
All
Just
right.
as we go, because I've asked a few questions. Obviously, since I'm going, I have to get some sort of sense of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But when you say small villages outside Lodja, and it's hard to get to, can you give me a little bit more detail on what it is that we are going to encounter and the travails that we are going to endure to get to these outlanding?
Maybe what I should do,
Yeah.
Jason has no idea I had this, but let me just read to you
Okay.
a message from Paul.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll
all right.
have him on the channel.
Yeah,
at
you've
some
been going
point.
back and forth with him, obviously,
Yeah.
trying to get the details, because you've been on that side of it. So.
But your question perfectly segues into
Okay, go ahead then.
this comment that he made to me. We've been chatting back and forth, of course, about this whole plan that we have. Paul writes, I feel like you, meaning me, having grown up there, have some perspective on this, but I think Jason might not. All of the Sankuru is very isolated. Healthcare is very poor, and the ability to respond to any emergencies is very low. The more we choose a remote location within the Sankuru to visit, the riskier it gets. He said, Dr. Tony, who is the Minister of Health, one of the guys that he works with hand in hand to do all these different trips, and his resources broke his tibia and fibula on the way. That's the doctor speaking, of course. I would have just said broke his leg.
Oh, there's two down there.
Broke his tibia and fibula on his way back from Lomelu on a major, or former major road, which had deteriorated apparently, and was carried by motorbike back to Lodja. He was in a lot of pain. There are a lot of things we can do to mitigate risk. I have accepted these risks myself. Most motorcycle accidents that lead to injuries are due to carelessness and too much speed. I'm very calculated and slow. Anyway, it felt like I should say something.
It's always good to say something.
So here's a former fairly decent road, and the Minister of Health was on a motorbike heading to wherever he was going to, you know, do some health clinics and so on, and fell and broke his leg. So Paul was basically just saying, here's what you're getting into. you know?
Yeah.
So be prepared. Now,
So Jason, be warned. This is your out. Is what he was saying. If you want to ditch this idea, go ahead and do it now, because
Correct.
here it is.
Now, most of the roads in these remote regions, you know, they used to have some fairly decent roads, at least in the area that I grew up in, but most of them have deteriorated so bad, and the government has become so corrupt that none of the money that's supposed to be spent on these roads is going to the roads. So locals are doing the best they can, but essentially the roads have eroded and deteriorated. They have huge rainy seasons, you know, monsoon type rains that wash away gullies, and then in the summertime, which is their winter, then you get this crazy hot, you know, no rain at all, and so you get this flaky sand that just blows away in the wind. So the road just goes back and forth, kind of like up in Michigan, where you have snow and then summer, and it, the asphalt cracks. Well, these roads just fall apart. So the only way really to get to these remote regions is by motorcycle.
So let's move to that.
Yeah.
When we get there, we're going to hop on a couple of bikes that will be, we will either purchase or have purchased for us and waiting for us there when we get there. Don't know what they are. It's going to be whatever that they use.
Yep,
we're going to hop on them with a bag of tools.
Yep.
And we're just going to take off.
Correct. Yeah.
Yay.
So Paul has bought one of the local little 125cc, typical Chinese bikes that they have over there, and that's what he uses. Kind of like his doctor friend. That's what they use to get out to these remote villages, because trucks just can't make it anymore.
Right.
So the plan is to support them and to help them. Jason and I are going to get out there, and we're going to purchase motorcycles as well. And we're going to do promotional photos, promotional videos. We're going to provide manpower. We're going to do whatever we can to support them. And we're hoping to raise funds for new computers and all of the vaccinations and
medical packs,
medical supplies that they need so desperately, but are just having a hard time getting. So that's the plan, basically, is, so we can get a couple of vehicles that will get us to the remote regions, and we can help them with our skills and our gifts, which are to tell the story and to help get the word out, so they can have pictures for their social media, their website, and that way they can help raise funds by going to churches and saying, hey, look, here's what we're doing. This is our story. Can you help us out?
Right.
So,
and if you watched our last episode on or podcast on our channel, you'll have noticed that we are switching all of our stuff from GoPro to something else. And part of the reason is anticipation of this trip. We have such old gear that we've been using for 5 years that we're now going to switch it out to some new ones, some reliable stuff, some fresh stuff, because we intend to make a full-length documentary out of this,
and
hopefully.
You can't get out in the middle of Africa and have one of your, action cameras go down.
Right.
There's just not a Best Buy around the corner that you can go to pick up a spare battery or replace your gear. So we need some reliable gear. That's for sure.
That's right. So is there anything else that would be of note that we would need to give these people information on what it is that we're expecting to do? So like you said, Lodja was the center. So we're basically going to use that as our home base. And then we're going to bounce out to the local villages and delivering supplies and doing medical care and us documenting the whole thing. Now, you did mention to me, like you just said, we're having to get there by motorcycle, sometimes in very treacherous and potentially hazardous terrain.
Right.
But there might be some places, if we choose, that we can't get there even by motorcycle.
Right.
So we're going to have to hop a tiny little Cessna or something and fly over the jungle and land into a field somewhere. Am I describing that
Yeah,
correctly?
it's possible. Yep. Just to get to that area, we're going to be on an ancient DC-3. I mean, it's going to be an experience.
So
we're
going to be. You're saying we need parachutes and white knuckles.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. So this is one of those real adventures. This is not Transamerica Trail where we call AAA.
Yeah.
This is not MABDR where you run into your buddy on accident.
Yeah.
Along the way. But
there's no McDonald's.
This is serious.
We're going to be figuring out how to be a local and how to move like a local, how to get our gear moved with what we have, and if that means that our motorcycle breaks down, we have to hike it, we're going to hike it.
What are we doing for sustenance?
Local.
We're eating what they're eating. Can you give me an idea of what it is I'm about to ingest? Because I'm on a diet, right? I have this thing I'm doing at the moment. It's working out fairly well for me.
Yep.
That's a topic for a different day. But what am I going to eat?
Both of our diets are going to change drastically.
At least for a month.
The main food that is eaten out there is fufu or sakasaka, and it's made from a tuber, kind of like a potato, I guess you could say. It's a root of the manioc plant, and it's pounded into a powder and then formed into basically like a doughy substance. And so that's the main meat and potatoes, if you will. And then It's very rare that the locals can afford meat, but they do raise chickens or they hunt. So occasionally you'll get a meat with a dish, but usually it's made to go with sakasaka. And sakasaka is made from the same plant. The leaves of that plant can be made into kind of a spinach curry kind of thing.
Okay.
And so you take your fufu and you dip it into the sakasaka, and that's a main staple of the area. Unfortunately, it's not extremely nutritious, which is part of why a lot of Congolese people are malnourished, and a lot of these children that Paul is serving and dealing with have difficulty fighting off things like malaria because they're already malnourished to begin with, so their bodies aren't really, well tuned to fight off disease and things like that. But it is what you eat when you're in an impoverished country like that.
That's a decent overview.
And of course, we might eat some fried grubs or caterpillars or something at some point. We'll have some fun.
Can we take the fur off of the potato? So, that's the basic overview. Stick around one more time. We have one more little commercial break. And by the way, these commercial breaks are people and companies that have decided to go ahead and give us a verbal sponsorship and support for what we're about to do. So don't fast forward it. Please watch it, and we'll be back in just a second to tell you how you can support us too.
The law is not in your favor if you or a loved one have been involved in a motorcycle accident, and the insurance companies are not on your side. That's why I called Rick Stewart, South Carolina moto lawyer. Someone made me fall, so I made the call.
Hey, it's attorney Rick Stewart from scmotolawyer.com. I wanted to wish Chris and Jason and the whole Moto Photo Adventure team good luck in this new adventure they're going on. They're going to head to the Congo to help Paul Law in a medical mission that he's going to be a part of in reaching a village out there that doesn't have medical supplies and they have medical needs. And so they're all going to be a part of helping Paul and documenting what Paul is doing and raising money for him. It's a worthy cause, and it's something that I love. If y'all know anything about me, you know I love the Long Way series with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman. Long way down, they went through Africa, and there was one episode where they stopped and they were documenting a medical mission that was going on there, and I remember loving that and just loving the heart of the people that want to help folks that are in need like that. So I'm all in. I want to help them with this. So good luck, guys, and I'll be trying to help as much as I can. And obviously, if anybody needs me, if you're in a motorcycle accident or you're injured, otherwise, just give me a call, 1-855-GET-MOTO, or email me at rick@scmotolawyer.com. And good luck again. I'll be praying for you guys.
Welcome back, and thanks for not fast forwarding that previous commercial, because those folks that you've seen in these commercials have already been in contact with us and told us that they are going to be stroking a check to help support this mission project that we're doing for the medical project that Paul is leading in the Sankuru region. And so we wanted to discuss just a little bit about how you can be involved as well if that's something of interest to you. We all have amazing lives here in America. We're all very blessed. And so this is kind of Moto Photo Adventures giving back. And we want to bring all of you guys along with us as well and give you guys opportunities to join us in this because it's going to be expensive.
It is
all
going to be expensive.
Of the computers and the systems that they use in the Sankuru region, their healthcare ministry, are antiquated. As you already know, you've seen it on the news. Things like malaria and malnutrition and other issues are rampant in the Congo, in Africa in general. Especially as you were talking about at lunch, there's so many issues with slave labor going on in countries like the Congo, where our benefits are being able to have phones because of all the mining of coltan, often with child labor. Diamonds, you guys have seen the Blood Diamond movie, similar situation, gold.
So it's going to be a significant expenditure to get there and do what it is that we're trying to do and make the impact we're trying to make. So, in fact, one of the sponsors that you have just watched, the Oaks Private School, has already committed to $500.
Nice.
It's going to cost us approximately $15,000. We're guesstimating $15,000 to buy the motorcycles and the airplane tickets and
All of the stuff we're taking to them, all of the computers that we're replacing, all of the medical supplies that we want to take.
right. So what we're asking you to do, straight up asking, is to give some money. We will have a platform for you to give. You can contact us through making a comment here on YouTube. We can get Facebook, Instagram, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever you want to do to get in contact us to tell us that you want to help support us. We will be giving some accolades. We will be mentioning some names. We will have some tiers. We will have, it'll all be broken down. We'll eventually have in the comments some links on where you can go and give online.
At this point, we wanted to get the announcement out
Right.
so that you can be preparing and figuring out how you want to be a part of this project. We can actually put the link up for you right here, so you have a direct link to our project that is supporting them.
Now, we do want to say, we're guesstimating it. We're having to do an estimated guess, an educational guess, that it's going to be $15,000 approximately.
Yeah.
Any overages that we have are going to be directly donated to the cause. We're not coming home with any money. We're coming home with video.
And if we don't raise $15,000,
We're coming out of our pockets.
We're paying for it.
So
We're
help,
committed.
So any help you can give us is going to be extraordinarily thankful. We will be forever in your debt, and not just us. The people we're actually going to help, Paul and the villages. So it's it's kind of a this is the moment where you get to say to yourself, let's actually make a difference. You know what I'm saying? These kinds of things have been on my mind for a long time. We have created an environment through this YouTube channel, albeit small as it is in comparison to a million follower channels, but we've gotten a decent little flow going here. So we figured, why do we need to take another unimportant trip in the United States? Let's go do something so that when we're done and we leave this, we shuffle off this mortal coil,
Right.
that we have actually left a footprint.
Correct.
And
change some lives in the process.
That's kind of the whole point. So can you help us change some lives?
I will
That's
leave
the
you with a little more from Paul. Paul said he did some statistical analysis of a village in the Sankuru region that hasn't been receiving medical care. And they found that 80% of the children in that village had the malaria virus in them. Now, about 20 or so percent of them were, struggling in bed. I've had malaria 5 times. It is horrible. So 20 or so had the symptoms to where they were flat out just in bed and vomiting and doing the whole thing. The others were out still working in the fields and helping their parents cook and doing all the other things that children have to do around the house to maintain a living. They were just soldiering through it in spite of having the malaria virus in their system. So,
and we could get it while we're there.
We could, and it's not something to trifle with. But I just wanted to share that with you, that is just horrible that somebody's children are walking around with the malaria virus in their system and still having to just struggle through it and do their daily chores. Let's change that. Let's get these people some medical attention and figure out a way to let these children have an easier living, an easier life.
And that is a perfect time to end it. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please comment below if you would like to help us. Comment below if you would not. It helps the video get a little bit of traction and other people will see it. If you have organizations that you are involved with, your employer, your church, your community, your YMCA, your senior center, your food bank, or
you own a business,
or you own a
doing
business,
well, and
just listen, man. Well, I'm asking, right? I'm asking. There we are. Again, thank you for watching. We're going to Africa.